With the legislative session now more than halfway over, lawmakers have yet to come up with a budget for education in spite of a mandate to have it done by April 1st. Now, teachers are returning to the Capitol, once again advocating for more money they insist is desperately needed in Oklahoma classrooms.
It's been a year since thousands of teachers descended on the Capitol, beginning a walkout that ultimately lasted for 9 days. They were there to demand better pay and more funding for education, to reverse a trend that had seen class sizes grow, even as teachers left Oklahoma for other states or left the teaching profession altogether. Lawmakers had already approved a teacher pay raise before the walkout began, and it ended without any additional legislation to address education funding. But Radon Musgrove, a teacher at Hoover Elementary School in Tulsa, doesn't regret the time spent at the Capitol.
I never felt more appreciated or loved or more proud to be an Oklahoman as I did last year, and I've carried that on, and it's the thing that sustained me through all this.
But Musgrove says despite the increase in pay, the exodus of teachers from Oklahoma classrooms continues.
Some of my best friends are looking at leaving the profession and leaving the district and even the state because they just can't take it anymore.
Shauna Mott Wright, a former teacher who now serves as the vice president for the Tulsa Classroom Teachers Association, says it's not that they aren't grateful for last year's pay raise.
But last year, the amount of money put into funding was not even enough to buy one textbook per child. And you know kids have more than one subject per day, and it wasn't even enough for a full book per child. So that doesn't even start to help fix the problem.
And it's not just aging textbooks and the lack of school supplies that's upsetting educators.
The class size situation is a huge problem for especially the older teachers. They're having over 30 students in a class, and at that point you're managing, and it's very difficult to teach.
Oklahoma Education Association President Alicia Priest says the teacher shortage remains a major problem for Oklahoma's public schools.
Superintendent Hoffmeister put out a study a couple of weeks ago that showed that we've lost 30,000 teachers in the last 6 years, 5,000 teachers a year, and they're going to other professions. They're going to other states to make more money. So we absolutely have a crisis.
That's why the OEA designated the first week of April a week of advocacy, so teachers could visit with lawmakers about their concerns. Priest says they're seeking an additional $400 million for education this year.
That is to reduce class size, to get books and curriculum that our teachers need, to rehire counselors and teachers' aides, folks that will help our students have the most success.
Senate President Pro Tem Greg Treat says negotiations on the budget are continuing, and education is still very important to lawmakers.
Last year we said that the pay raise was not just a one and done, and I think you'll see as this process moves forward that we are making education still a very big priority and putting more resources into the classroom.
But Treat conceded that lawmakers were unable to make the April 1st deadline to finish the education budget. In fact, last year was only the second time that deadline has been met since the law was passed in 2004. And teachers say there's no excuse for that.
They knew the due date, and they're late once again. It's not okay for kids to keep coming down on the list. They should be at the top of the priority list. So I am disappointed.
House Minority Leader Emily Virgin is baffled by the legislature's inability to meet the April 1st deadline and says the delay puts school districts in a bind.
Schools right now are working on their budgets for the next school year, and they're working on deciding which teachers to retain, which ones they can afford to retain, and what their staffing levels can be next year.
For now, Priest says there are no plans to repeat last year's teacher protest.
A walkout is never a goal. It's a reaction to legislative inaction.
Still, the OEA is not ruling out another teacher walkout if progress is not made toward reaching education funding goals.